You know what laziness really is? It's that sneaky friend who keeps saying, "Dude, chill out, we'll do it properly tomorrow." And guess what? Tomorrow just never comes. That friend never tells you to quit or give up. Oh no, they're smarter than that. They tell you to relax, that there's still time, that you'll handle it later. And that's what makes them dangerous. Because every time you listen, nothing bad happens. There's no explosion, no big loss, no drama. Everything just pauses. You ever seen that little loading circle on your phone? That endless spinning thing that keeps going but never loads. That's laziness. Busy but useless. You're not lazy. You're buffering. Picture this: you wake up, grab your phone, and tell yourself you'll just check something for 2 minutes. 40 minutes later, you know what random people had for breakfast, who's dating who, and 5 ways to get rich fast that you'll never even try, and your brain actually goes, "Wow, what a great start to the day." Laziness is a genius at pretending it's productive. It evolves too. Back in the day, laziness meant napping all afternoon. Now, it's podcasts, motivational reels, planners, and habit apps. You don't say, "I'm procrastinating," anymore. You say, "I'm preparing." It sounds smart. It feels justified. But it's the same trap. Let me put it this way. If laziness had a career, it'd be a consultant. It never does any actual work. It just gives advice. Maybe later, maybe after you plan it better, maybe when motivation hits. And every time you agree, you're paying it with your most valuable currency, time. Here's something to think about. When your phone hits 2% battery, you panic like it's the end of the world. But when your life energy feels drained, you shrug and say, "I'm still young." Funny priorities, huh? Laziness isn't about low energy. It's about believing you have unlimited tomorrows. You don't. Take Serena Williams. People say she's just naturally driven. Nope. She practiced on boring days when no one was cheering, no cameras, no excitement. That's exactly where laziness usually wins. The quiet, uneventful days. Same thing with Amazon back when it was just a small idea. No hype, no guarantee. Just consistent effort even when quitting looked easier. Laziness always offers the easy exit. Now, here's the part that's funny and a little painful. Most people claim they don't have discipline. But somehow, you manage to finish an entire Netflix season in 1 weekend, right? Or binge a 90-episode show in 2 weeks. Or scroll endlessly without missing a day. So yeah, discipline exists. You just aim it at comfort instead of progress. I once met an older man who told me, "When I was your age, I had big plans." I asked, "What happened?" He smiled and said, "Life." But really, it wasn't life. It was laziness, showing up in tiny doses disguised as harmless excuses. One skipped workout, one delayed call, one risk avoided, one more year waiting. Then suddenly, decades gone. Laziness doesn't destroy dreams in one dramatic moment. It kills them quietly, whispering, "Just today." That's its favorite trick. Just today. Believe that every day and one morning you'll wake up realizing you didn't actually fail. You just never started. So stop asking, "How can I get motivated?" and start asking, "Why do I keep trusting the voice that keeps me stuck?" Because once you see laziness for what it is, not a weakness, but a liar that sounds like your best friend, it starts losing its control over you. See, laziness doesn't say, "Don't do it." It says, "Do it later." But every time you say yes to that, your brain learns something dangerous: that delay is okay. Think of laziness like a muscle. Not a huge one, but a sneaky little one that grows every time you give in. Let me tell you about a student. We'll call him Alex. Super smart, top of his class. Everyone said he had massive potential. But every exam season, same story. After today, I'll study for real. He believed it every time. That's the scary part. He truly believed it. Each delay trained his brain to think waiting was harmless. Years went by. Students with less talent graduated, got jobs, built lives. Alex wasn't less capable. He was just more skilled at postponing. That's how laziness wins, not by stopping you, but by training you to wait. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before finally making a working light bulb. Imagine if laziness whispered, "You've tried enough, take a break." We'd still be sitting in the dark. Laziness can make you think effort is foolish and giving up is wise. It also loves comfort. The second you get a taste of success, it changes its costume. I know an entrepreneur who worked his tail off to build a small online business. Year 1, brutal grind, no shortcuts. Year 2, money starts coming in, and laziness shows up wearing a fancy suit saying, "Relax. You've earned this." He slowed down, took longer to make decisions, lost the hunger. 2 years later, his competitors blew past him. Laziness didn't end his effort. It ended his growth. Even Elon Musk talks about this. People think he just loves working insane hours. Nope. He does it because the mission requires it. Laziness never vanishes. You just stop letting it make decisions. Here's a small everyday example. You sit down to study or work, and your phone's right next to you. You promise yourself you won't touch it. 5 minutes later, you're deep in your feed. Half an hour gone. That's not weakness. That's laziness choosing the easy dopamine hit. You set yourself up to lose by bringing temptation into the room and then acting shocked when you fall for it. Most people don't fail because life's too hard. They fail because they keep making deals with laziness. Just today, just until I feel better. But laziness never forgets those deals. It keeps a record. Here's a rule to remember: never trust how you feel before you start working. Trust how you'll feel after. Before work, you'll always feel lazy. After work, you feel proud. Laziness never mentions the after part. So next time laziness whispers to you, don't argue, don't try to psych yourself up. Just move, one step, one call, one small action. Because the moment you move, laziness loses its voice. And when you feel that shift, that spark that happens right after you act, you'll realize something powerful: laziness was never your enemy. Listening to it was. Now, let's get into the part that actually matters: how to beat laziness in real life. No motivational hype, no fake energy, just real, practical rules that actually work. Rule number 1, never depend on motivation. Build systems instead. Motivation is emotional, it comes and goes. Laziness, it's patient. It waits quietly for motivation to fade, and then it strikes. Systems are what protect you when motivation disappears. I once knew a student who could never wake up early. He thought it was because he was lazy. Nope, his system was lazy. One small change fixed everything. He moved his alarm clock across the room, far enough that he had to get up to turn it off. That's it. Same person, different setup. Suddenly, his mornings changed. Laziness didn't vanish. It just lost its access point. Even the most successful people use systems to beat laziness. Take Steve Jobs. He wore the same outfit every day. Not because he didn't care about fashion, but because it removed one more decision from his morning. Laziness feeds on too many decisions. You reduce those, and laziness starves. Rule number 2, shrink your starting point until laziness feels ridiculous. Laziness wins when the goal feels too big. I'll study 2 hours, sounds heavy. I'll read 1 page, feels light. I'll build a business, is overwhelming. I'll send 1 email, feels doable. I know an entrepreneur who promised himself he'd write something daily. Instead of trying to make it perfect, his rule was simple: 1 ugly paragraph a day. He didn't aim for greatness. He aimed for consistency. Because perfection protects laziness, progress destroys it. That 1 small rule kept him consistent for years. Rule number 3, stop negotiating with your feelings. Feelings aren't your boss. Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't train because he felt motivated. He trained because it was scheduled. Once something's on the schedule, laziness doesn't get a vote. The moment you start asking, "Do I feel like doing this?" laziness has already walked into the meeting. So decide your actions before the day begins. When it's time to act, you act. No debating. Rule number 4, make laziness expensive. When skipping costs nothing, you'll skip. I know a guy who wanted to get serious about fitness, but he kept skipping the gym, so he prepaid a trainer. No refunds. Every time laziness said, "Stay home," his bank account said, "Go," or "You're wasting money." Pain now or pain later. He picked pain now. Public commitments work too. Tell people your goals. Share progress. Make skipping feel uncomfortable. Laziness hates consequences. Rule number 5, change your identity, not just your habits. Your actions always follow who you believe you are. When you say, "I'm trying to study," laziness stays right there beside you. But when you say, "I'm a disciplined student," laziness feels out of place. I saw this transformation firsthand. A student once told me, "I need to start studying seriously." He failed repeatedly. One day, he shifted his language. "I'm the kind of person who finishes what he starts." Same schedule, same books, but everything changed. His behavior caught up to his identity. Rule number 6, design your environment so that laziness has no power. Willpower is weak, but environment is strong. You can't expect to stay focused if your phone's sitting right next to your work. Phone on desk, laziness wins. Phone in another room, laziness struggles. If your bed is next to your workspace, you've basically handed laziness the throne. Even small environmental tweaks can change everything. People like Jeff Bezos talk about making their most important decisions early in the day. Not because mornings are magical, but because energy is highest, and laziness is still asleep. So here's what you need to do today, not tomorrow. Pick one of these rules and apply it once. Don't try to change your entire life overnight. Just one action, one small system change, one identity shift. Because understanding laziness doesn't make it disappear. Outgrowing it does. And once you truly defeat it, you'll realize something big. Laziness was never in control. You were just letting it drive. Now, let's talk about the hidden level no one warns you about. When laziness comes back after you start winning, this is the danger zone, the quiet trap that kills momentum. See, when you're struggling, hunger keeps you moving. You're desperate to change things. But the second results start showing, money, praise, progress, laziness changes its mask. It stops saying, "Don't start." Now it whispers, "You've earned a break." And that's how dreams fade, silently. I've seen it too many times. A student improves their grades, relaxes, says, "I'm doing fine now." One semester later, they're right back where they started. An entrepreneur hits their first big win, slows down, stops learning. Meanwhile, competitors keep pushing and pass them easily. This isn't bad luck. It's laziness wearing the mask of success. Michael Jordan understood this better than anyone. After winning championships, he didn't relax. He trained harder, but smarter. Same intensity, higher standards. Because he knew the truth. What got you here won't keep you here unless you guard it. Here's a rule that protects your success. Never lower your standards. Only upgrade your rewards. Rest if you need to, celebrate your wins, but don't drop the bar. The work stays, the effort stays. Only the reward changes. I knew an entrepreneur who ruined his progress because he celebrated too long. One good month turned into 6 lazy ones. Meanwhile, another entrepreneur made a different rule. Every time he won, he forced himself to take one uncomfortable action. New revenue, reinvest it, new followers, level up content, new opportunity, raise expectations. He refused to let laziness anchor him to yesterday's success. Another trap successful people fall into: outsourcing effort too soon. The second money starts flowing, they try to escape the grind that built it. They delegate everything, stop learning, stop showing up. Laziness loves when leaders disconnect from their work. The ones who win long-term stay close to the process. Even someone like Warren Buffett, he still spends hours reading every day, not because he needs to, but because he refuses to let comfort slow him down. Laziness can't stand lifelong learners. Here's something you'll definitely relate to. You build a good habit, waking up early, studying daily, posting consistently. After a while, it feels easy, even boring. And that's when laziness shows up again, whispering, "You've changed. You can skip today." That's the most dangerous moment, because nothing feels wrong yet. That exact moment when everything feels calm, normal, maybe even a little dull. That's when laziness starts sneaking back in. It doesn't crash through the door shouting, it just leans in and says, "You've done enough. You can rest now." And you listen, because it sounds reasonable. You've been working hard, right? You deserve a break. But that's the trap. It's not about resting your body, it's about relaxing your standards. Here's the defense against that. It's one of the strongest habits high performers use: non-negotiables. Decide in advance which things you never skip, no matter what. Not 10 things, just 1 or 2. It could be the gym, study time, content creation, whatever really matters. When life gets chaotic, laziness tries to renegotiate everything. Skip today, start later, do it tomorrow. But if you've already set your non-negotiables, there's nothing to debate. Top performers aren't people who do more. They're people who skip less. Here's another rule: respect the boring days. Anyone can perform when excitement is high and everything feels new. But the true professionals, they keep showing up when it's dull, when no one's cheering, when the routine feels endless. That's when laziness is weakest, because consistency beats intensity every single time. Think about athletes. Even in the off-season, they train. There's no crowd, no adrenaline, no trophies, just practice. If they stop, laziness slowly rebuilds its strength in the background. Then when the real season starts, it's too late. So remember this: laziness doesn't come back because you suddenly became weak. It returns because you stopped guarding the door. Success doesn't kill laziness. Systems do, identity does, standards do. And if you keep those 3 strong, even when life gets easier, you stay dangerous. Now let's wrap this up in the most honest way possible. Laziness isn't something you remove once and for all. It's something you outgrow, and then you keep in check every day after that. No matter how far you go, laziness will always try one last trick. It'll whisper, "You've made it. You can relax now." Here's the truth that most people never realize. You don't win against laziness by beating it one time. You win by refusing to listen to it today, and then again tomorrow, and the next day. Picture your future self for a second. Not the highlight reel version, but the real one, the one living with the results of your habits. That person doesn't care about your excuses, about why you didn't feel like it, or why you needed a break. They only live with the outcome of what you do repeatedly. There's a story about Bruce Lee that captures this perfectly. He wasn't obsessed with learning hundreds of new moves. He was obsessed with practicing the same basic ones every single day. Why? Because mastery scares laziness. Repetition makes you powerful. Laziness hates powerful people. I once spoke with an entrepreneur who told me something I never forgot. Most people ruin their lives slowly and comfortably. No big crash, no major disaster. Just a steady stream of small delays, small excuses, and skipped days. Laziness is patient like that. It's happy to wait while you postpone your own progress. But here's the good news. Success is built the same way. Slowly, quietly, daily. One decision at a time. You don't need to go to extremes. You don't need to wake up at 4 in the morning or grind for 18 hours straight. That's not the lesson here. The real lesson is simply keep the promises you make to yourself. Start small but stay loyal. Because the moment you start breaking your own promises, Laziness learns your language. Look at the people you admire. The creators, the athletes, the leaders, the builders. What do they all share? Not perfect talent, not superhuman discipline. It's self-respect. They do what they said they would do, especially when nobody's watching. That's why discipline looks boring from the outside, but from the inside it feels like freedom. So, remember one sentence from all this: you don't need to feel ready. You need to feel responsible. Responsible for your time, for your potential, for the life you said you wanted. Because one day, years from now, laziness won't be there to explain why your dreams didn't happen. The only person standing there will be you. So today, just today, do the thing you've been avoiding. One action, one movement, one step forward. Not because it's easy, not because you feel fired up, but because you refuse to let a comfortable enemy decide your future. Laziness will knock again tomorrow. Let it knock. You'll be too busy living to answer. Thank you for listening. And if this message hit you, remember to like and subscribe, my friends.